Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I'm going to focus on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. That's the one show that actually never changed its title. So now we have the official title for all three shows. There's The Walking Dead Dead City, The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live, and The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. I know that there was some speculation as to, were they going to change the title of that show or was it different anyways? Because Rick and Michonne was different and we all thought Rick and Michonne was the title, right? So no, this show is actually titled The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and it's the trailer looks absolutely incredible. This trailer, honestly, it changed a lot of, I know some people were mentioning that based off of some of the stuff that was already released or some stuff that people saw, that the music was really great and there was some stuff with that, but like I couldn't really picture what it sounded like. And then we watched the trailer and honestly, we have a pretty good indication as to where this story is going. And I'm so excited. I am like very excited about all of this. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. And for those that join me on Twitch, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. I think we had about 180 or 190 of you guys in there at one point. And yeah, that was just honestly so amazing. Just waiting to see the footage for the first time. So yeah, thank you so much for all of that. If you do want to follow me on Twitch and you want to be a part of my streams going forward, because I will likely be streaming the Walking Dead games, then definitely go follow me on Twitch. My channel name is Appetite for the Dead. And yeah, we'll probably do a stream later on tonight or at some point tomorrow for sure. We're going to be doing a lot more streams. The streams have sort of taken a little bit of a break the last like week or two, but I'm getting back on them now. But let's talk about the trailer here. Actually, before the trailer, this show has been renewed for season 2 already, which is actually pretty insane. I'm getting this here from the Hollywood Reporter, so I will leave a link down below to this article. Definitely go and check the article out. But it does say though, like, yeah, Daryl Dixon has been renewed for a season 2. Melissa McBride is going to be obviously in the show. It's most likely for season 2. They were filming a lot of season 2 already when the pause happened, so we'll have to wait and see like where they're at in terms of that. They're probably, I mean, again, they were filming for a few months. They probably got 3 or 4 episodes down already, right? So if this show is going to be 6 episodes for season 2 again, they could be almost done, unless they're doing like 8 or 10 episodes. Then we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so in terms of that, really good news. Like Dead City got renewed for season 2. Daryl Dixon got renewed for season 2. Just absolutely incredible. And I do want to point this out, and I'll talk about this in a separate video because we'll go into it more in depth here. But included in the Hollywood Reporter article is also a reference to, obviously, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. And it says, which reunites flagship stars Andrew Lincoln and Danai Gurira and bows a date to be determined next year. The latter series was originally envisioned as 3 feature films, but morphed into a 6-episode limited series that may or may not have more than 1 season in it, per sources. So that's interesting right there, per sources. So I'm guessing their sources have sort of said that there may or may not be more than 1 season. So right now it's sort of up in the air. So you got to wonder what the issue is then. Like if they're not doing more than 1 season, what's the issue with that? And it could have to do with the actors potentially. Maybe they want to see where the show is going to go. Maybe they're just not entirely sure. So right now it's just sort of like, we'll wait and see, because there's been no confirmation of them only doing 6 episodes. Like they said, limited series, 6 episodes. And I mean it. Like if you actually look at the wording of how they've talked about it, they're not like not saying that that's it and there's not going to be a season 2. They're just kind of saying what it is. They're just like, yeah, there's going to be 6 episodes. It's a limited series. Like that's how they reference it. It's just like, yeah, there's 6 episodes. So we'll have to just wait and see what actually comes of this. But I'll do a video talk about this more in depth. We got so much to talk about here for Daryl Dixon. And again, season 2, just absolutely incredible. Just really amazing stuff here. There's also going to be a 10-minute sort of sneak peek that does release on AMC Plus tomorrow for Daryl Dixon. So I'm going to have my review up tomorrow for those first 10 minutes. I know it's kind of silly because it's literally the first 10 minutes, but I will do that. I'll have my first review up for that, because we do actually have confirmation as well that Judith will be in this show. At least she's there for like a flashback scene sort of thing. So I imagine that they're probably going to do a lot of that. There'll probably be some connections like that with the Daryl Dixon show. They'll do some flashbacks here and there, much like Dead City did to Simon and some other characters, right? So it's kind of cool. I'm really excited to see what actually comes of that. But yeah, anyways, tomorrow my review for the first 10 minutes of Daryl Dixon will be out. But let's get into the trailer here. So the trailer obviously begins with this one shot here. We do see Daryl. He's just sort of in the ocean. He's obviously tied up to a boat, and that's kind of the interesting thing to it, is like he's tied up to a boat. And there is a reference later on in the trailer as to like somebody asks him, how did you get here? Like, how did you end up in France? And he just kind of says like bad decisions. And you know, he might be remembering a little bit of how he actually did get to France, but it's still very interesting. Like, there's still a part of it that I'm just kind of like, what does it mean? Like, why did he get there? How did he get there? Obviously, he wasn't on a boat that sailed all the way there. Like, I swear, if that is the actual explanation, I will not watch this show. Well, not really. Like, I will watch this show, but I'm so confident that's not going to be the actual explanation, because I know people are going to laugh at that immediately. There's going to be something in there, obviously, that explains a lot of it. Like, he was taken there, but dropped off near France, right? Like he was just sort of knocked out during the whole entire thing, because that seems to be kind of where they're going with that anyways. Like, there's sort of a bigger meaning to the story here, because somehow Carol gets there afterwards, right? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But we actually do see him arrive on shore, and he gets up and he just sort of starts walking. And I think that's where a lot of these shots of him walking on these bridges here, on these tracks, I really think that this is just, it's him literally just like trying to find a place to stay, just, you know, trying to figure out where he is. He's trying to survive. Like, this is true survival. He arrives on the shore, and he needs food, he needs water, he needs like a place to obviously survive, and he's good at surviving, obviously, but now he's sort of forced to be out there. And so now, with whatever equipment he has, obviously he's just trying to figure out, you know, just like, what do I do now? So he's just sort of exploring. And that's the thing too, is like, I don't think at this point here, he knows that he's in France. Like, I think at this point, he just kind of knows, like, I'm somewhere different. Like, it just, overall, the vibe feels off. Then I do think once he starts to actually get into France, and he starts to see like certain locations, or just like the wording, because obviously it would be in French and stuff, I think he'll put two and two together. He does talk about, you know, he's from the Commonwealth, which is in America, and overhearing this seems to be the villains here of the show. And the villains, I'm just telling you, I absolutely just, I'm excited for these villains, because they really seem like classic, almost like James Bond villains. Like, this one character here, he just really reminds me of Jaws. Like, Jaws is obviously one of like the best James Bond villains ever. He just really gives off that vibe, and he's like, I'm gonna go after Daryl Dixon. Like, I'm gonna find him, because at one point she actually says, like, I want you to find the American, and I want you to kill him. And he's just like, I will do that. And you see a lot of really cool action shots of that. Like, the trailer is filled with a lot of action shots of Daryl and this villain fighting here. And I actually forgot his name. I know it starts with a C, but I totally forgot his name. So yeah, I'm excited for that. There's going to be a lot of encounters between those two. I do think he's probably going to be like an iconic villain for The Walking Dead. Like, I could totally see him definitely being like, honestly, more memorable, or just as memorable as like Simon. Like, he fits like that type of a role, like with Simon, Dwight, and etc. Like, he's a really interesting character. I'm really fascinated in just like who he is in general, and just where this story goes overall. We have some shots here of some castles. Like, this is like a pretty cool place, I would say, to be able to stay in. And Daryl seems to find this place. We have this one shot of him, and again, he has a total outfit change here, and he's walking out somewhere. Like, I know that he has a bunch of different outfit changes throughout the series. He actually does have his vest, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I know that this outfit is something that he does wear for quite a bit, and it looks like at this point, I'm guessing this is like an episode 2 or 3 thing. Then we have this shot here where I did talk about that again. How did you come to be in France? And we do have this nun talking with Daryl and sort of like wondering, like, how'd you get there? And he says a bunch of bad decisions. And we do get some shots of, I don't know if that's what that is, just Daryl fighting. No, that's not what that is. I thought it was like him maybe fighting people in America, and this is sort of a tease as to how he gets there. Although actually I do think it is. I think Daryl actually gets into a fight here. So this might be a clue here as to how he ends up in France. So there's somebody here. Daryl's wearing his exact outfit that he wore in the finale of The Walking Dead. And if you look, like, yeah, he's fighting somebody here. He ends up fighting someone else in this other room here. And it says like something station on it. I'm not entirely sure what that is. But yeah, it seems like he actually gets into this huge fight. And somehow, I guess through this fight, he ends up in France. Again, I really do not want the explanation of this to be he is just like, he gets into this fight, they knock him out, and they tie him up to a boat and throw him in the water. And then somehow he ends up in France. That cannot be the explanation here. So there is something more here. Again, you got to remember what Daryl is doing. Daryl is coming here to look for Rick. So he's trying to find clues as to just, where he is. It could be CRM related. Like, the people here, could be connected to something with the CRM, or they know, or they could be people that are just like pretend to be outside the CRM, but they're actually more affiliated with them. And so something happens in terms of that. Like, that seems to be the general idea anyways, is that Daryl gets too close for comfort, I guess, for the Civic Republic, and so they sort of get rid of him, and this is how they do it. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that and what happens there. But yeah, then we have a shot here of Daryl just sort of walking around here, and he's looking at the trees. And again, the visuals here are just really incredible. Like, it's just, the grass is just different here. There's like a lot of long grass here. The overall vibe I'm getting is very much like a 1940s vibe. Like, it really feels like an old James Bond film, but like not necessarily. It feels like there's obviously a horror vibe to it. So it feels different. There's a religious vibe to it. The music throughout all of this, again, the music is just so insane. Like, the music is absolutely incredible. But then we get this really epic shot of Daryl jumping from wherever this is here, but there's a crazy explosion. And I will say, I don't know who's behind him. It's really hard to say, but it almost looks like it's a variant walker that just like runs and tries to like go after Daryl. So I actually wonder, because again, the variant walkers, that is definitely something that people are wondering about. Are they backing off of them? I don't think they're going to. They teased that. They're not going to back off of it. Obviously, though, they're going to be smart with the reveal and how they use them, right? Like, we're not going to see them probably in every episode. These walkers might be more of like special walkers that will appear here and there, but the main walkers might just be like normal walkers. I mean, we kind of got that in the final season anyways. Like, most of the walkers they encountered were normal walkers, just that some of them were able to, like, obviously there's a variant where some could climb and stuff. So I don't know, this could be a person. Maybe I'm just blind and I can't really tell right now, but it almost seems like this, honestly, could be a walker that is actually like chasing Daryl. And so that's why Daryl's running. Because again, Daryl's running here. Like, he's actually running from someone. He jumps right off of the railing here. And it's just, man, like, honestly, like, the action here, just this scene, whatever is happening here, this is going to be absolutely mind-blowing to watch. This is going to be iconic. Like, Daryl usually has a lot of shots like this where there's like these massive explosions and he's just somehow involved in it. This is going to be a part of that. Like, Daryl definitely, he has the best action scenes, I would say, out of any character from the Walking Dead universe. We then have this shot of Daryl in like a totally different outfit. Obviously, this is probably what he's just kind of wearing underneath all the outer clothing that we've been seeing him in. But yeah, at this point here, he's just kind of exploring this place. We don't know the name of this place yet, but, you know, the nuns here obviously are very interested in just like, why is he here? We do have this new character here named Laurent, and that's sort of how I'm going to pronounce it, because I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't have the best French accent, which is kind of weird considering where I grew up is very French. But yeah, we have a new character here named Laurent, and Daryl seems to have a pretty close connection with him, because there's a lot of shots later on where he seems really upset. It seems like the goal overall is Daryl needs to deliver Laurent to some place to, I mean, I don't know what, to revive humanity. That's sort of what the nun mentions. And so is that what's happening here? Is that sort of the goal here? Is there some sort of belief? There's some sort of thing happening where Daryl has to deliver Laurent to a specific place, because she says, you're the messenger to deliver Laurent. And Daryl seems a little just like, wait, what? Like, what's going on here? And she mentions at one point to lead the revival of humanity kind of thing. And so I'm really interested in what the storyline is here. There's somewhere that they need to deliver Laurent because they believe in something probably with him, that if they deliver him to a specific place, that it can start the revival of humanity. That's kind of what I'm getting here. That could be what it is, that they could really believe in that. Maybe Daryl doesn't believe in it, but maybe they actually get into some stuff where it actually seems like, oh, this could actually be a thing, right? So that could be really cool. We'll have to wait and see. And then we have some shots here of some walkers down below, and Daryl's just sort of looking at all of them. And again, just the visuals in general of just the castles and villages and stuff are just so amazing. Like, I can't believe I can't believe places like this exist. It's just incredible. And then we have this new character, like I mentioned before. She says the American. I really wonder who she is. I mean, is she CRM related? Like, you almost want to say that she is. Like, could she be Huck's older sister? Probably not. Like, she's definitely a newer character. But then we have Daryl running away from this new character, and there's a bunch of people with him, obviously. And yeah, he shoots at Daryl. Daryl jumps and runs away. There's then this shot of Daryl, and there's a bunch of vehicles that go by, and he's hiding behind this bush here. And it's kind of cool because he actually has a black hat. We haven't seen him actually wear the hat at all in any footage of anything. So he has it, though, so he can actually wear it. So it's kind of, I mean, it's interesting. Like, would Daryl wear a hat like that? Like, I don't know why he has it. Maybe it's more to like just hide himself or something like that. Like if he has to blend in with people or something. I don't know. But then we have more shots of Daryl with Laurent, and obviously they're traveling together. That seems to be a big part of the actual story here. So at first I thought he was actually held captive here, and no, it looks like it's more of a situation where, I mean, maybe he is held captive and something happens, but I don't know. He's on the other side of the bars here, and then obviously Laurent is being sort of chased. He's a little scared of the walkers. It looks like, honestly, to me, it looks like he's praying against the walkers, and that's something that I guess is kind of interesting. You know, like maybe that's sort of what he believes in. If he just sort of prays that maybe somehow it'll keep him safe from the walkers, either that or he's just like giving up immediately. He's like, no, I'm too scared. I can't do this. So he's praying because he knows he's dead. But we do see a shot of him actually closer to Daryl later on, and it looks like Daryl kills the walker or whatever. So obviously he ends up being fine in general. There's then this one shot of this castle, and then you have like the water here and everything. And like, I don't know where this is. I can't believe places like this exist. Honestly, this is just insane. But it says to lead the revival of humanity. And that seems to be the overall goal here, is like, we're going to actually revive humanity. We're going to save the world, basically. And so that's what the Daryl show's about. And I just wonder, you know, there's obviously some more legitimacy to this. That's what I'm curious about, is like, there's more legitimacy to what they want to do and where they're going. So I'm interested in that, and I do wonder how Carol's involved in all that, because at some point obviously she's going to show up. Daryl also has his crossbow, which is hilarious. So yeah, I mean, somehow, I mean, obviously he probably just like took it from that one place, but if you notice in the shot before, he is wearing his vest, so like somehow Daryl kept his vest throughout all of that. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know where he stores all this stuff. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, I hope it makes sense as to like just where it's been. There's then this shot of Daryl, and he's looking at like this field of a bunch of crosses. And I mean, I don't know what this is related to. I don't know if this is connected to something with just previous people that have died kind of thing. I think it would be cool if he actually came here and then all of a sudden there were actual zombies like breaking out of the ground kind of thing. Cool shot here of Daryl, Laurent, and we have Isabel. And then there's another character in the back. I'm not entirely sure who that is. But yeah, really cool night shot here. They're having a fire and stuff. And yeah, just super cool. But then we have this shot of Daryl, and he has this weapon. And he actually fires it at something. I guess there's like gunpowder or something. And it causes this huge explosion. There's walkers behind him, and I love how comfortable he is. He's just sort of like, yeah, I'm not really worried about them. Like, I'll blow these walkers up, and then afterwards I'll take care of the ones behind me kind of thing. Then there's also these new characters here, and it looks like at some point he just runs into a new group. Like, unless this is connected to the nuns, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like this is just a new group entirely. And then we have this subway that's actually, or subway train that's going by, and this looks like a flashback. We have Isabel here, and it definitely, like, just judging by this shot, it does look like a flashback. And we start to learn a little bit more about her character, because she actually says, like, maybe we're the same that way, you know, broken until the world ended. And that's actually something that is just, that's something that The Walking Dead used to talk about a lot back in the day. They really used to talk about the fact that, like, certain characters benefited from the apocalypse happening. And I miss those sort of discussions. Like, it's just been so different for so long, and going back to these discussions, talking about more personal stuff, you know, it's kind of cool. Like Daryl and I guess Isabel now, you know, I don't know who they were before the apocalypse, but it seems like, yeah, the apocalypse happened and they both benefited a lot. Like, they're actually doing much better now. We have some cool shots of Daryl fighting some walkers in the fields here, and somehow he has like that, what's that weapon called? It's probably a little different, but like for some reason, Daryl just always seems to have a weapon like that. Some really amazing visuals here of some landmarks, and just absolutely just like incredible. We have some sort of show that is going on here, which is actually really interesting. I remember them talking about this early on when they were filming season 1. So there's going to be an episode where, you know, obviously this is happening, and I do think there's characters in there that Daryl meets that are lead characters. Actually, there's one character that I believe is supposed to be like a main character, so that's probably what we're seeing here. This could be from like episode 2 or 3. But yeah, just some really cool shots. We do have a shot here of Daryl. Like, he is held captive at one point here, so there is something to that, I guess. Like, there is something to Daryl being held captive. And we have an amazing shot here of the Eiffel Tower. Laurent is actually just staring at it. I mean, we saw some stuff of this the other day with the teaser that they released, and Laurent, I don't think, was in that teaser, and Daryl was looking at the Eiffel Tower. So yeah, just like, honestly, the visuals here are incredible. And then we get the last shot here of Daryl with this weapon, and it looks like he's in a safe place. Maybe there's a walker that's there, and so he's taking the walker out, or he's just sort of training and he's just testing the weapon out. I'm not entirely sure, but really iconic shot. I've seen this shot like a long time ago. A few months ago, I saw this shot, so I've just been waiting to talk about it. I've been waiting for just any sort of official look at it. But yeah, it just looks absolutely incredible. And this show premieres on September 10th. So yeah, that's sort of my breakdown of the trailer, reacting to it shot by shot. The show looks really great. I really have nothing else to say. I think that where this show does get really interesting is its end game because of its goal. You know, they want to revive humanity. They're not going to do that, obviously. There's going to be something that happens there. But there's that religious aspect into, you know, just the belief of that happening. Daryl, you know, doing that. And then also on top of all of that, what's Daryl's plan to get back? Because obviously Daryl probably wants to get back to America, right? So that's not really addressed in the trailer, but that's going to come up at some point, obviously. And I know it's going to get to a point where like he likes the people he's with. So he's just going to be like, well, I like the group that I'm with, so I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to abandon them right now. The people at the Commonwealth are fine. It's safe there anyway. So I'm just going to help them out and then I'll go. Especially if Carol ends up there, right? It's going to be something that he can't just leave immediately. So yeah, I'm really excited. But Daryl Dixon premieres September 10th on AMC Plus. I actually believe they confirmed that you are able to watch on AMC Plus on September 7th and then cable for September 10th. So yeah, I guess I should correct myself there. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. Remember, the first 10 minutes are going to be available tomorrow on AMC Plus. So I will be reviewing that then. And yeah, definitely post all your thoughts down below. Post any predictions you have for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.